What's going on, my trainer club? Today we're going to check out how does Flygon sit overall as an attacker and where is he best suited for PvP with his new Earth Power move. So welcome to the trainer club. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Let me know in the comments below, how did you do on your trap hinge day, and was it lucrative or were the spawns a little bit nerfed for you guys? Because I've seen some people say the spawns were nerfed, and then other people I've seen catch like 16 to 18 shinies. So I'm curious to see how overall did you guys do. So today we're gonna check out the Flygon as far as an attacker goes, where he sits for the ground attackers, because we know he's not gonna compete with the dragon attackers. And then we're also gonna check out what is the new implications for the Earth Power move in Pokemon Go. So let's get into it right now. So just wanna make a quick note before we get into this. We have the Flygon that is ground and dragon combination. We have another Pokemon that's gonna be coming up in a future community day that is also ground and dragon that sits pretty high up there, which is gonna be Garchomp. Since this Pokemon got Earth Power, right? And we'll check this out towards the end. We are going to potentially get Earth Power with the Garchomp, which could do some pretty significant increases, which we will check out at the end. So if you've been with me for a while, you know all the DPS, TDO, and everything like that. Just check the timestamp below in the pinned comments and you can skip right over this information straight into the stats. But if you want a quick refresher or you are new here, we're going to get into it right now. So the DPS is going to stand for damage per second, which means if you have an attacker with one hit that's going to do a knockout blow, how much damage can it do? It takes into effect stab effectiveness, which means same type attack bonus, which is if it's a ground Pokemon, as the Flygon is, combined with Dragon. So being a ground Pokemon with a ground move, Earth Power, it's going to have an attack bonus because they're paired up together. An off-type move with a grass move with this ground type attacker would not be considered a same type attack bonus or stab. Next, we're gonna check out the TDO, is basically total damage output over the lifespan of the Pokemon. How much damage is it gonna do? It's going to be higher for the tankier Pokemon that deal a good amount of damage at the same time. And then we're gonna move into DPS times TDO, which is over the lifespan of the Pokemon, taking into account the stab and the DPS and the tankiness, TDO. What is the best statistical analysis of this Pokemon as an attacker? And then we're gonna take one step further and use our trainer brains because we need to analyze the different types of movesets. Is it a 1-bar, 2-bar, or 3-bar special? And how does it relate to some of the other ones that could be sitting pretty close? So let's get into it right now. We're gonna start off with DPS Ground Attackers for the Flygon. Where does it sit with Earth Power? Let's do this. So checking out right now, we're gonna start with the damage per second DPS. Landorus, Therian form, 17.32, Landorus incarnate form, 15.75, which as of right now, if they don't get nerfed, are really sitting up top there. Then we have the Excadrill with the DPS overall. If you guys want to check out that Excadrill DPS times TDO, you can check it out up here, which is going to sit at 14.974. Then we have the Groudon, Mudshot Earthquake at 13.957. Then Garchomp, Mudshot Earthquake, 13.671. Then we have a Golurk, we have another Excadrill, a Mamoswine, and then the Flygon comes in there with the new move, Mudshot Earth Power at 12.683. Then we have the Rhyperior sitting in the last place. And if you want to see the Flygon on the second page without the new Earth Power move, but with the Earthquake, he's going to be at the bottom in the 19th spot at 10.911, right? And if you want to check out any of these other ones here, make sure to pause it to do so. So as far as the DPS, we know that Flygon is not a super tanky Pokemon, but with the DPS not sitting him up at the top, it's not already looking good so far. So we're gonna check this out for the TDO now, which is going to be total damage output over the lifespan of the Flygon and these other Pokemon that we're gonna compare it to. What is the tankiest Pokemon combined with a little bit of damage as well, right? Because all tank with no damage is not going to do a great amount of TDO, but a good amount of tank with a decent amount of damage is going to be the best fit, and the best ratio in there is going to be what makes these Pokemon sit on the top of the TDO, which we're checking out right now. Sitting at the top, we have the Groudon, Mudshot Earthquake at the 517.8. Then we have Landorus Therian form at the Mudshot Earth Power, which is really what is setting them apart. That Earth Power really does a good amount of bump, 513. Then we have Garchomp, Mudshot Earthquake, 501. Then we have Rhyperior, Mudslap Earthquake at 478. Then we have the Landorus incarnate form at 473. Excadrill Mudslap Drill Run at the 384. Then we have Mamoswine, Mudslap Bulldoze at 376. Then we have Rhydon, Swampert, Golurk. If we want to see the Flygon, we have to get onto the second page with the Mudshot Earth Power at 330. And then if it was going to have Earthquake, it's gonna be at 284. If you wanna pause here and check out the rest, please be sure to do so. So TDO, guys, now that we know the TDO and the DPS are not sitting at the top, we know that the DPS times TDO is not gonna be sitting at the top, but where does it actually sit overall statistically with this Earth Power? Let's check out the DPS times TDO right now for the best statistical analysis with the Flygon, with the Earth Power right now. We have the Landorus Therian form at 2665, wow. And then the Incarnate form at 1850, both leading the pack. And then we have the Groudon Mudshot Earthquake at the 1408, current highest ground attacker right now. Then we have the Excadrill with the Mudslap Drill Run at 1271. Then we have the Garchomp with the Mudshot Earthquake at 1280, Rhyperior. And then if we want to see the Flygon with the Earth Power, it's going to be at the bottom in the 10th spot at 673.6. And if we want to go to the second page, which I'm going to do this on purpose, we're going to check out the Flygon, which is then sitting in the 20th spot with the Mudshot Earthquake at 369. We see where it's at. It's definitely not sitting at the ground attackers. You know, I would definitely not suggest powering this up as far as the ground attacker goes. However, what we're going to do right now is we're going to pave the way to potentially see what happens if the Garchomp were to get Earth Power as a Community Day move for Gible. So looking at it here, right, if we're going to compare the Flygon's increase, so the Flygon with the Mudshot Earthquake is going to be 369. And then with the Mudshot Earth Power, it's going to almost double it to 673. So now let's have a look at Garchomp. Garchomp currently sits at 1280, right? With the Earthquake and the Mudshot, same moveset that the Flygon had beforehand, but then once he got Earth Power, it almost doubled it. So if we almost double it, let's just say we go up 1200 points. It's going to sit it at 2480, which is going to be in between the Landorus Therian form and the Landorus Incarnate form, which is going to be 1,000 points above the Groudon. If that actually happens, guys, that's going to be absolutely insane. That's why I said make sure to always wait to evolve your rares, especially this, because if this is actually the case, if Garchomp happens to get the Earth Power, if it is a standard double in the move power, it is going to then put it by far above the Groudon, and since it's a very tanky Pokemon as well, it's going to be an amazing attacking Pokemon. So for everybody that has evolved one, especially 100%, is now not going to have that premier ground attacking move that's going to be sitting it in the #1 space currently, maybe #2, depending on if the Therian form gets nerfed or not. But listen to me, guys, if you need to check out why not to power up your rares and you want to see my explanation behind it, you definitely want to check it out here. But that is where we're sitting right now, as paving the way to potentially, hopefully, not give Draco Meteor to the Garchomp and give it a ground move so that we can really boost our ground type attackers. And then finally, Groudon can get surpassed because we then have a 2-bar special Earth Power coming. Flygon being a PvP beast with the Dragon Claw Mudshot combination and being able to waste shields very quickly, where does Earth Power sit? So I talked to King, and for the most part, we're going to choose Earthquake over the Earth Power. Only thing about the Earth Power, which is kind of cool, you only get a 10% chance, which is going to decrease the shields by 1 stage when you are using this. So 10% chance, basically 1 in 10 chance that you're going to hit that. As far as the Mudshot, it is going to take 7 Mudshots to activate the Earth Power. It's going to take 8 Mudshots to activate the Earthquake, right? And 7 is a pretty decent amount when we're talking about the Flygon, because it's not like a crazy type attacker that we would really want to sit in there and just be tanky and be taking a lot of different specials. If you're going against a 4 or 5 activated move and it can get out basically like 2 in the time that you get out 1, we're slightly problematic here, right? The Flygon's more of this quick churn and burn type Dragon Claw move where we can continually get off specials and potentially waste the shields of our opponent. So Earth Power is going to do 111 damage, while the Earthquake is going to do 144. So if you're using Flygon and an opponent comes out that you would need a ground type attack against, and this warrants it, chances of you getting off 2 of these guys are not very likely. But if you so desire to save up, maybe shield one of the attacks and then go for the Earthquake, right? 144 compared to 111, there's no way that you're going to generate another one in the lifespan of that Pokemon. So it's going to be in your best interest to deliver the most amount of damage you possibly can, which would warrant the Earthquake. So technically speaking, I know I wouldn't say to TM if you got a really good PvP one away, but hopefully you got 2, and maybe you have 1 that's saved up with the Earthquake, and then if at some point Mudshot were to be generated and really be useful in a specific cup or anything like that, we would then save up for there. But as of right now, Earthquake sits at the top. So Earth Power, unfortunately, is a unique move. It is now legacy for the Flygon, but it doesn't really hold any weight. It does make him a better ground attacker, does not put him into the yes, power him up For PvP, it doesn't really warrant, like, I definitely need this move. It really sets him apart. Like, Dragon Breath could have potentially bumped him up, but now this is where we're sitting. I would say the takeaway here is do not power up either of these guys. I would hold one for PvP, potentially to power up if it is at some point warranted. For a top attacker, definitely not warranted. But the biggest takeaway that we have is not related to the Flygon. It's the potential that the Garchomp could get the Earth Power move, and if it stays in suit with this and goes up, double in the attack amount DPS times CDO would absolutely make Garchomp an amazing Pokemon. So you guys need to save your Gibbles for Community Day. Work on trying to get luckies, trying to get good ones, because Garchomp with Earth Power is going to be a boss Pokemon. So thank you for tuning in, all my likers, commenters, subscribers, and my sharers. It really helps out all you guys that share my videos, and all my Patreon members for taking their subscriptions to the next level. You know what I'm gonna do? See you guys out on the next video. Peace! I just want to take a moment and sincerely thank all of my Patreon members, everybody that has taken their subscription to the next level and chosen to support me on this platform. I greatly appreciate you guys. As a growing channel and really trying to grow and improve as much as I possibly can, I really appreciate the extra support. You guys mean the absolute world to me. I cannot wait to connect with you soon, and I appreciate you guys all for being a part of the Trainer Club. I will see you guys out on the next video.